Welcome to the Red Bean Podcast, New Orleans edition. This is Mr. Toad.
And I'm Dr. Frog.
We are doing another episode on food reviews, and this was kind of like, I've been wanting to do this review for like months.
I've heard about this place for years.
I know. I was talking to someone, and they're like, oh man, you gotta definitely check out Spudly, Super
I've had it recommended to me half a dozen times at least.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because of the location. I felt like it's kind of like off the highway, and you have to take like the side road to get there.
It's on Iowa, 125 or something. It's on one of the not interstates, but on one of the highways alongside the interstate.
And I think one thing that is not an understatement is when you get there, it's going to be like this little like house almost. Doesn't it seem like a little like garage house?
If it weren't for the sign, I wouldn't have known it was a restaurant.
Yeah, I would have thought this was a place where you sold plumbing equipment or something, or Drano, or maybe it's like an old tool shop or something.
Did you know it was full of potatoes?
That's what I'm saying. But what did you think about the spacing inside?
The spacing inside, I felt like it was a little bit cramped with the seating, meaning if you lean backwards, you might bump your head on someone else's head sitting in a table next to you. So there's only a couple tables inside, maybe 6 or 7 tables.
I felt like we were kind of like in a silo.
A little close, but we did pick the corner, but it was busy. That we had to take what we could.
I felt like we were like I felt like I was kind of like getting pushed to the side.
Well, some of the tables are up against the wall. We see this at several many restaurants around New Orleans have tables along the sides of walls to conserve space. But it didn't hinder my experience with the food.
I remember when we left. Man, we left with more stuff.
Yes.
I was like, I was like, I can't eat all this potato.
I made the mistake of ordering several appetizers.
Yeah, and when I got there,
prior to the entree, oh my goodness.
Yeah, when I got there, I was like, oh man, I was like, are you okay? He's like, oh yeah, I'm doing fine. I just ate.
Yeah, I was saying that, but it was really a cry for help after 8 delicious mozzarella sticks.
So
those things,
good.
There's some mozzarella sticks that are fried or they don't have the cheese was fresh, gooey inside. They were thick mozzarella sticks, and oh my goodness, it just. I'd argue they're the best mozzarella sticks I've ever had. Also, I think, at least for Spudly Super Spuds, this is also a place, if you're a vegan, yes.
I heard this is like very vegan friendly.
A lot of, there you can take out, meat from any of the dishes pretty much.
Yeah.
And potatoes are very hearty, vitamin D. And
a lot of fiber.
Yes, fiber as well for gut health. This was highly recommended as, I think, one of the top 5 vegan restaurants in New Orleans. There's a couple others I'd like to show you, actually, at a future time. But
definitely. We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah, whenever I have vegan friends enter, I always take them to a few different places. But Spudly's is going to have to enter the mix.
Yeah, it has to be a place you go to. And I guess for me, it just seems like a hidden gem.
It is a gem. That is a good way to put it.
I love the pricing. It seemed quite affordable, at least to me.
Very family friendly, great for the location. I mean, appetizers were $4 to $6. Very reasonable. And then entrees, I mean, $10.
I remember we had the wedge fries.
We did have the wedge fries as well.
And we had some bacon and cheese on it. It was so good.
The flavor, I could just feel it melt in my mouth. It was great sensation.
I don't know. There's something about cheese and bacon on wedge fries. So good.
Yeah, it's going to make you, if you have this on Saturday, it's going to make you go into church on Sunday.
You got to get cleared out after that incident.
You got to apologize to someone.
You're like I had
for what you've just done.
I was just having too much fun.
There you go.
Overall,
Saints were playing the Packers, so you had to take it out on the cheese.
Yeah, I know. For me, I had the Super Pizza Spud.
Yes, that looked delicious.
It was so good because it had sliced pepperoni, sautéed mushrooms, black olives. and a rich Italian sauce. The sauce was so good.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to look at a picture of it. Look at that.
And I was thinking, I've had baked potatoes used to be a staple in my diet.
Okay.
Right? I would bake them, sometimes microwave them, put some butter on them, sour cream, cheese. I thought I was a chef back in my late teens, early 20s by how much stuff I put on them. This was less of a potato. The potato was more like a container.
Yeah, I felt like
amazing dish inside.
I felt like we had like 3 meals at the same time. It was like,
I mean, look at some of these crawfish spuds.
Oh my gosh! And the fajita spud. Look at that.
Oh my goodness! That
fajita spud.
You might as well just have a fajita, and then just put 2 halves of a potato on either end of the plate, and call it a fajita spud.
I will say this about the potato: I felt like it was really well cooked. Like
it was delicious and well cooked.
Yeah,
they were bigger than I expected. The potatoes.
I think
I'm used to smaller potatoes.
I think some people would think like, what is this, pasty? No, it was kind of chunky. It was more intact, really. But it was like intact, but it was like falling apart, crumbly.
Potatoes are such a staple. I used to go, and I can't remember if it was $7-10 to just buy a bag of potatoes in the last few months.
For the longest time, they were trying to push potatoes in the past, but because potatoes have these like little nodules that develop on the side of it, some people thought it was creating leprosy or other things.
Yeah, the things that grow on the side.
Because it was ugly.
Just skin those off when you peel them.
Yeah, just peel them off, yeah.
When you peel them, yeah.
But one of the reasons why you have
sometimes it's a little dark and black in there if it's been bruised or rotten a little bit. So, but you just carve that part out.
Yeah, you just carve it out. The thing that was interesting was that French fries, as we consider them, the reason that French fries came to exist was that it used to be like rich people would have these like, hey, I have a little party at my house, and they would start serving potato, being like, this is the food.
They cut them into kind of wedging,
and they cooked them differently.
Probably boil it and
it became a hit.
Oil or something.
People loved it. They were like, man, I love these French fries.
It softens it when you boil it like that.
And by people enjoying it, they were able to overturn because originally the Congress said it's illegal to have potatoes for a while.
Really?
They made it illegal.
It's funny that they did the pizza potato, right? Because tomatoes, people thought were deadly and poisonous for a while. It's part of the nightshade family. And so in Italy, they don't have pizza sauce on the pizzas.
Yeah, they're very thin. I remember when I was in Naples, Italy, It was very thin pizza, but everything was so fresh. It was like more like the toppings.
The
toppings were where the thing was at.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. I've only been to northern Italy. It's not Sendure. It's not Sendai because that's in Japan. It's a place between Budapest and Vienna, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's like south. It's like south of there.
Well, I have to say, if you definitely want to go somewhere and you're like, I need to eat something and be just stuffed for a couple of days, Spudly, Super Spuds?
Yes.
I think that's a good place to go to.
I think it's good. There's a variety of flavors. You'd be surprised at how many flavors you can have. Sure, there's going to be a lot of brown and orange on your plate, from the cheese and the potatoes, but the flavors are there. It's a good home-cooked meal at a very reasonable price.
I felt like for me, I would just eat a little potato and then just eat about maybe half the pizza spud. And
it's multiple meals.
Yeah, it's supposed to be multiple. It's like you're eating a pie or something.
We took home,
we took
lunch and dinner the next day.
Yeah, I told you, I was like, it took me 3 days to eat that.
If you want to feed a family for a week for under $20, get a bunch of potatoes.
Yeah, your kids, you'll just stuff them up,
Your
man.
kids will hate you, but then they'll somehow think you taught them a lesson in doing so.
They're like, hey, Dad, I didn't really appreciate all that potato, but you know what? It kept me pretty stuffed.
You know what? I'm only shopping at Spudly's. There you go.
This is a Spudly kind of week.
You'll say, son, what has become of you? and then you'll become a potato eventually if you eat enough.
And the staff was so friendly. What did you have to say?
The staff was friendly. Refills were great.
Yeah.
They were very patient. I arrived a bit earlier, and I didn't want to order too much without you there. very patient. They let me stay there for a while, even though it was pretty crowded.
Yeah. Overall, if you gave a score 1 out of 10, 1 being your stomach getting pumped out at Ochsner.
Was there as well, by the way.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, behind the counter.
And then 10 being the best. What would you give it?
So between getting your
stomach
by
pumped.
By the way, I would say Ochsner is a fantastic facility. So
I hope I don't get my stomach pumped.
It's more than a 1. You're dealing with a 7. So between 7 and 10, I would say Spudly's I would actually give an 8.
I would say 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5 is what I was thinking.
7.5. You do the 8. You know
what? You know what? The mozzarella sticks bumped it up to an 8 for me.
The mozzarella sticks.
Here's why. Normal mozzarella sticks. First of all, it's usually it's something people don't want to order. It's something people are forced to order because it looks so delicious, and then you're usually disappointed. It's the crispiness of the fried cuts the roof of your mouth. The cheese is kind of this plasticky frozen thing that they just baked to get out to you.
Yeah.
And overcharge. This was fresh.
Tasty.
The fried part around it crumbled.
Oh yeah.
As I could bend it. I could bend it, and you could see the fried portion crumble around the cheese, and the cheese was warm and fresh. Very melty.
For me...
I almost ordered a second appetizer of 8 mozzarella sticks.
I feel like if I went there, this is what I would order. I would order wedge fries with add cheese and bacon.
Delicious, yes.
And just give me just a box of that. Just a plate of that, and I'm good to go.
You get that, and then I'll get the mozzarella sticks, and then we can share.
There we go. And that would be like the ultimate combo.
And then we'll do a part 2 where we record a live.
We have to do a live recording. Yeah, at some point in the future, I have to get an iPad.
You'll hear our chewing voices.
You'll be like hearing this chomping noise.
Yes,
they're so good. Yeah, keep them coming.
The waitress brought me another large soda. They're so friendly there. They really want to make sure you have a fantastic time.
Yeah, she kept checking on us, make sure she was all right. Did you guys need a refill?
Plenty of parking space too, so bring your family. And make it an event.
So we're saying this is a 7.5, 8? 7.5, 8. I like it.
Yeah, 7.5.
It's definitely a place worth checking out. Someone vegan. Yeah. And if you're out of town coming in, maybe this is kind of a local kind of hidden away gem. What would you say?
Certainly. Well, and the broccoli and cheese soup. There's a lot of broccoli and cheese soup where it's kind of a mixture or a packaged thing. This is actual melted cheese with the broccoli, which if you're not a fan of just drinking cheese in some sense, it might be a little overwhelming. But I think this is a wonderful place you can take someone. It's very unique. It's certainly not your average deli that you might go to for lunch or your average, tavern or something like this. But this is a unique, you have to be craving some unique potatoes when you come on in.
Yeah, you're going in there and your mindset is, I need to get stuffed and I'm going to go on a trip and I can't eat for 9 hours or 10 hours.
There might be hungry bears, but I need the starch to fight.
I need the fiber, man.
Fiber.
I need the fiber.
There we go. But, I highly recommend this. The skins are great as well. Everything's good about this.
The nice thing about fiber is that it makes you fuller. I mean, you eat the fiber, it takes your body's stomach acids, more work, more energy to break this food down to get the nutrients out of it.
Yeah, it stays there a bit longer. It's, if you're in a famine, you want, if you could choose one food to have, potatoes will keep
It'll hold you over. That's why the potato famine in Ireland was so bad.
Yeah.
They said it'll start after because
it would have been fine if it was a chocolate famine and then they still had their potatoes. It'd still be okay.
If only Spudly's was there.
If only they had Spudly's.
If only Spudly's just showed up.
You know
with
what?
A time machine.
Maybe Spudly's came to New Orleans, and then that's what caused the potato famine. All the potatoes went with Spudly's.
It was like they consumed too many Spudly's. Come on.
Or maybe the humans aren't actually running Spudly's. It's our potato overlords. And we're merely helping them grow the potato empire.
Or maybe Spudly's was the long arm of the French aristocrats Because they're still trying to promote potato consumption.
And they were using their long arm to cover their very short other arm. Because that would be awkward, none of the jackets would fit. There'd just be that floppy end on them.
Hey, you
had to pretend a cannonball took it off.
Hey, this is what you have to do when you have to extend your arm out to drink a little coffee or something, and you have.
I'm pretty sure Napoleon's Josephine, when Napoleon returned from Waterloo, caught Josephine in the bedroom with a bunch of takeout orders from Spudly's.
And this explains why.
And he got angry and jealous because they did not. She didn't order any mozzarella sticks.
Think of it this way, though, too. You have Napoleon. He's taking... Every time you see that picture where he's burying one arm into his jacket, maybe that's the longer arm, and the other one is the regular arm. Maybe you have to hide the arm a little bit inside of his jacket. Okay, so we're going completely off this Spudly thing.
No, it's fine, though. But the rating still stands. We're not going to change it.
Exactly. We're not going to change it. But you know what?
But by the way, the decoration of Spudly's, one thing we didn't go over, unique decorative interior. They had a lot of New Orleans and LSU kind of stuff, I believe. It just reminded me they had older pictures. It seemed like there was a lot of history.
They even had a little slot machine in the back.
Well, I noticed that too. They had, I think it might have been video poker.
Yeah, so if you want to do some gambling and you have your kids out.
There's a black curtain.
Yeah, because you can't look.
There was only one person who asked for it and then checked it and then left. I didn't go into it. In the same way, there are some other places that have video poker, but right now we're just assessing the restaurant atmosphere.
And overall,
but you know what? You're right. If you go there for a date and it doesn't turn out very well, just say excuse me and then go to the poker machine until the check arrives.
You'll be like, hey ma'am, I need now that I've got my fill of Spudly's, now I got to get my fill of some gambling.
Yeah.
So if you need a taste for potatoes, that's the place to go. Taste the potatoes after and play a game of poker.
Yeah, and it's right off of Carrollton, it's right off of Clearview.
It's on Harvard Avenue.
On Harvard Avenue sounds classy. Yeah. But Harvard Avenue, I think, splits off of that service road that runs into Clearview, close to where it meets I-10 and Clearview.
And I think overall, there's no reservations, and their meals are lunch and dinner.
It is, excellent.
Not a breakfast place.
Yeah, it'd be a little too heavy for breakfast.
Too much. So we're talking like lunch, dinner kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they open from 11 to 10 p.m.
11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central, of course.
Yep, Central. And overall, I think this is a
beautiful place.
Good place to go. 7.5, 8. I have to say, from my perspective, definitely a place to check out.
Yeah.
And
glad we went.
I'm glad we went. And overall, I look forward to the next place we check out. This is the Red Bean Podcast New Orleans edition for our review of Spudly's, Super Spuds.
Super Spuds.
Yeah. So that's me, Mr. Toad. I'm signing off.
You remember your name. I'm Dr. Frog.
I'm Dr. Frog. We're signing off. Have a great day, guys.
Take care, all you Spuds out there.